digital radio,
FM,
your smart speaker,
and on BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Scotland.
But now the news with Cameron Angus Mackay.
Thanks, Shireen. Good morning. The Scottish Conservative leader will today appeal to Labour and Liberal Democrat voters to unite behind his party in key seats to defeat the SNP. Douglas Ross will attempt to appeal to what he calls pro-UK voters as he makes his keynote address to his party's spring conference in Aberdeen this morning. Mr Ross will also outline his 5 key election pledges, which include recruiting extra GPs and putting more police on the beat. A UN team visiting Gaza's biggest hospital has found that many Palestinians who were injured during an aid delivery on Thursday were wounded by gunshots. Palestinian officials have accused Israeli troops of killing more than 100 people in the incident, but Israel insists that most of those who died were trampled to death or run over by the lorries. The BBC's correspondent in Jerusalem, Paul Adams, says conflicting accounts are causing confusion.
The UN team says they did not see dead bodies, so they were not able to make an assessment of how those people died, but they did say they talked to people who had experienced gunshot injuries at the scene of the convoy. So we're trying to reach out to the UN, trying to find out more about what they heard and what they saw.
Glasgow has seen the highest rent rise in the UK, according to figures compiled for the BBC by Zoopla. The property website tracked the jump in rents for people looking for somewhere new to let. Glasgow tops the list above Manchester and London, with an increase of 38.9% between 2020 and last year. Edinburgh has also seen a significant rise of 36.4%. Sir Keir Starmer has backed Rishi Sunak's call for unity after the Prime Minister used a speech in Downing Street to warn that extremists were trying to deliberately undermine the UK's multi-faith democracy. The Labour leader said Mr Sunak was right to condemn recent scenes of intimidatory behaviour. The BBC's Harry Farley says critics of the Prime Minister have accused him of failing to offer solutions.
Beyond the tough rhetoric that we heard from the Prime Minister last night outside Downing Street, there are questions about what the government actually plans to do to unify, as Rishi Sunak said, the country. And there were some pointing out that his speech was tough on language, but perhaps a little thin on actual new measures and new policies.
Some of the most powerful people in football are meeting at Loch Lomond today to discuss changes to the rules of the game. The International Football Association Board will decide whether or not to introduce sin bins as a further way to discipline players. But the president of World Football's governing body, FIFA, Gianni Infantino, has rejected the idea of blue cards, which had been proposed as the way to show a player was to be sent to the sin bin.
No, there will not be any blue cards used at elite level. This is a topic that is non-existent for us. FIFA is completely opposed to blue card.
And researchers in Cornwall say they've discovered one of the largest quantities of a rare type of seaweed ever found in UK waters. The marine algae covers an area equivalent in size to nearly 900 rugby pitches at the Fyle and Helford Estuary Special Area of Conservation. Now let's get the sports headlines with Gully Singh.
Thanks, Cameron. Scottish medal hopes Gemma Reekie, Laura Muir and Josh Kerr take to the track on day 2 of the World Athletics Indoor Championships today in Glasgow. Reekie is up just after midday in her 800-metre semi-final. Josh Kerr, Laura Muir and Molly Caudry compete in the evening sessions with 8 gold medals on offer. Christian Coleman took gold in the 60-metre, pipping his fellow countryman Noah Lyles to top spots. The World Indoors in Glasgow. Watch live coverage across our BBC platforms. 5 games in the Scottish Premiership today, with leaders Rangers in action at home to Motherwell, hoping to extend their lead to 5 points. Livingston rooted to the bottom of Scotland's top flight, face 10th place St Johnstone, whilst 11th place Ross County travel to Easter Road. St Mirren host Aberdeen and Kilmarnock have a trip to Dundee. Sportsound has live commentary from Ibrox, including updates from around the grounds from 2 on BBC Radio Scotland. Off the Ball is here at 12. That's the sports. Let's get some travel.
Dolly, thank you very much. In Fife, coming off the M90 north, a lane's blocked along the Slip Road to the A823 westbound at Junction 2, the A823M Petrevie turn-off. That's because of an accident involving a lorry. And on On public transport, delays of up to 50 minutes on Stena Line between Cairnryan and Belfast, and no service on Pentland ferries between St Margaret's Hope in Orkney and Gills Bay in Highland because of maintenance work. To the weather, today will be unsettled with rather cloudy skies and frequent showers, wintry on the hills, longer spells of rain moving across the far north. Occasional bright spells are still likely. Temperatures of 4 to 7 Celsius for most, locally up to 8 Celsius in the west. BBC Radio Scotland's news.